gets sunk. Shake, trip, shimmy, and we do the bump. Everybody swinging to the brown derby jump. The beautiful life is always dead. You gotta fall into the quicksand. A deadly kiss from a temptress can serve to make a truly wayward man. She's not a talker, her teeth are fixed, but she's a looker that lives for kicks. A nightmare straight from an auto dicks. Everybody swinging with the brown derby chicks. We do the drum. We do the drum.
You have arrived. Do not adjust your monitor. Make sure your tinfoil hat is shiny. Lock your doors. If you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting, lie down. If you're driving, please pull over. Swipe and share. Curse and comment. Open debate. Trolls welcome. Resist or mega. Left or right. Darkness or light. Flight or fight. Political turmoil. Innuendo. Lies. Deception. Rhetoric. Fake news. AI. Extremism. Lucifer. And laughs. Welcome to the Daily Boogie.
My baby, she's my buttercup.
Hello everyone, good evening. It's good to see you. Really pumped. You guys are on a Virgin flight with me today. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you all. General, Banter, Ernie, Cindy. Thanks to the artist, Denise. Pandora's Aquarium. I hope you talk about Jerome Corsi on Tracy Beans. You are about to enter the world. Yes, good evening. Good evening. Good day. I've got some fun stuff. Got some not so fun stuff. I've got queued up ready to, just in case anybody didn't see it on Friday, probably one of the greatest Alex Jones rants of all time. Of all time. Like, it's epic. So I thought I have to, just in case anybody missed it, because I know not everyone's a fan, but it's like, how could you not be? Just a little update from Boogie Land before we get too far down the rabbit hole. We have had the internet attended to, so we are, we're doing fingers crossed. This is like a trial run. We're trying to venture out. We're trying to take off and make sure that the internet doesn't drop out. We've had the technician over. We've had it seen to. Alex Jones, oy vey, yes. Sunday, yeah, why not? Why not? So, like I said, we just had the internet fixed up, apparently. So, I mean, because every other time we're just plagued with dropouts. It's very, very annoying. So I thought we'll jump on, see how we go, see if I need to march into the office and slam my fist on a desk and make threats, veiled threats, via email. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I'm not that kind of a guy. It's not my styles. So where do you want to start? I've got a pretty funny article at Vox. Well, funny or scary, depending on your outlook. It's maybe a tad optimistic for some people. I've also got the most epic Alex Jones rant of all time queued up, ready to go. Like I said, just in case anybody missed it, we can start there. And he had a caller later on who was asked about QAnon. Blue Room, thanks for joining us. To what do we owe this pleasure? So, you guys decide. Do you want to start with Trump is crazy? Do you want to start with Alex Jones is crazy? Do you want to start with everyone else is crazy? You missed it? Okay. We'll play it. We'll play the most epic Alex Jones rant of all time. Just for those who missed it. You're going to love this. Trust me.
They are just flipping out.
Just settle back.
Completely inverting all of this.
You've got to feel it.
And now Michael Wolff, known...
Just, don't get angry. Just go on the ride with me. Okay? Remember, it's a ride. So just come along for the ride. And let's see how we go. Let's see how we end up. Turning down my phone. Wrap any glassware in some kind of blanket. Or would be better, one of those fire retardant blankets. Like the kind of like a race driver's suit. If you've got that material handy, put it up all around your windows. We wouldn't want a Clinton-esque fire-breathing moment. So, this is just spectacular.
For yellow journalism. He's famous.
Take down the China, lock the doors.
His news reports with outright fabrications.
Festooning. See, straight away I'm intrigued because festooning. It's a certain caliber of man who can just drop festooning into a sentence and just keep on rolling like it wasn't even a thing. It's a chicken wing on a string.
It's on a Christmas tree. He's now come out and said he has no way to know if any of it's true. And he's gone to say, quote, I'll do whatever is necessary to get the story. Wolf in journalist clothing. By the way, this guy looks so disingenuous. I saw a photo of him last night smiling, and it reminded me of a piece I've been wanting to do for months. Guys, go to Google Images and get Brian Stelter smiling.
What's Brian got to do with this?
It is the most disingenuous, wolf-like demon face I've ever seen. And then you look at Wolf, it looks like Wolf is Brian Stelter's real daddy.
Oh, mate, we're only a minute in.
I'll come find it during the break because there's no way for you guys to know which ones I want. It's Brian Stelter. There it is. Oh, my God. That is a horror movie cover. Seriously, he is scarier looking than It the Clown. Would you let your children anywhere near that psychopath? That is a psychopath right there. Look at him. God. Oh, it cries out. Danger, danger, alert, alert. I am a scumbag. I am filth. I am your enemy. And then you look at the photos of Wolf smiling, and it's the only person I've ever seen that looks that creepy, man. It's a still image photo of him smiling the same way with that power trip look in his eyes. It's in Google Images.
The man's just
type in Michael Wolff journalist. That's his.
He's just got a pure talent for ranting, like pure distilled ranting ability. It's so rare.
Cover. And you'll see the Brian Stelter look. I believe he is related to Stelter. He's got to be. Folks, I would literally not be able to finish my dinner if somebody walked over and talked to me that looked like these two guys. And I'm sorry. They're not just lying anti-American scumbags that want to run us all on the ground because they're little men. They're pieces of crap. They think they're better than everybody. That's what it's about. It's a spirit of evil, and we must break them.
Yes.
Anytime I need energy now, I'm hanging Wolf and Stelter and Hillary. She's the other person that's got the same demon look. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm a ravenous piece of garbage. And I'm going to hang all three of them on my office wall.
See, that's the most beautiful part of the entire rant right there. He looks upon these people. He looks upon their images, right? And he's filled with this burning, visceral hatred from the depths of his soul. And it's like the fires of hell and banshees are flying out of his mouth. And it's just... So he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang that picture everywhere around the Because that's what you do. When someone annoys you so much that your bones start melting in anger, you just want to have that picture surrounding you at all times. It fuels him. I bet it does. And you know what? That would just be like an A+ gold standard, HR approved, like, work environment, I think. Could you imagine going into work every day knowing that you were going to be witnessing this? I mean, it would just be fantastic. Fantastic. Let's carry on. He's only just warmed up.
In fact, I'm putting their faces up all over the office because I want people to know who the enemy is. Unbelievable. You guys still haven't found the one. It's a body shot of Wolf, and he's looking down with that disingenuous predator look of, I'm not even hiding the fact that I hate everybody and that I'm a piece of crap and that I want to abuse you and I want to lie to you and I want to hurt you.
It's like, if you're a parent and you're a really proud parent and, the first time your kid comes home and they bring home, those really crappy pictures that kids draw, like the little stick figures. And it's like, this is mummy, this is daddy, this is me, this is the dog. And some of the letters are backwards. And you're like, you know what? I'm just so happy with this. I'm so proud of you. I'm going to put that right up on the fridge. Do you know what Alex does? He puts Brian Stelter, bang, up on the fridge. Every time he goes for ribs or something, it's like, demon! You demon!
But then there's a disingenuousness where he thinks you don't know.
Oh, we know.
And it's like a joke that we're not in on. And no, that's not it. It's a body shot. It's him kind of looking down, and he's got that same smile as Stelter. And these are photos that they themselves put out as publicity photos. I've tried to do joke photos like this to look disingenuous,
Exactly.
and I can make any face I want to. I can't pull it off because the eyes, Chico. It's always in the eyes. And again, I am always following my gut from now on with people. And how, just like Trump said, and they got big studies out, you can tell if somebody's lying, you can tell if somebody's been sick even a few hours, even though the virus or bacteria hasn't really replicated. Your brain is such a supercomputer that your first shallow approximation is not shallow, it's the deepest thing, to paraphrase the president. But just look at Stelter again. Put him on screen.
Put him back up.
I think this all the broadcast should be is just a photo of Stelter smiling. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash.
Damn.
I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy.
Yes.
Enemy. Enemy. You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got. Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil.
That bit there. That bit there. Look at that. The eyes are wide.
And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got.
Do you think he means it?
Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Alex.
You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter? You will fall.
Oh, yes.
You will not bring humanity down.
Yes.
God is going to destroy you.
Testify.
Get him off the screen. Oh, God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them. They're drunk on our children's blood, for God's sake. Okay, I'm going to stop right now.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jones. That was just... Like, I don't even, See, this is the thing. You can love him or hate him, or you think he's all lies, or you think he's telling the truth. That's completely irrelevant to the point we're making here. That is one of the greatest rants ever captured on camera, on tape, ever. Ever. Without doubt. So even if you don't like him, and even if you don't agree with him, and even if you think everything he says is rubbish, and even if you... Whatever the case may be, whatever your personal connection to Alex Jones may be, the point is you have to tip your hat to someone who can rant like that. Simple as that. Simple as that. I should have ended with that, because it's really hard. It's really hard to follow up from that. Really, it truly is. That is. See, that is epic entertainment. I'm tempted to jump ahead to the caller. You couldn't watch that very long. I'd be busting a gut. You see, it's just fantastic, though. Yeah, you need a cigarette to come down off that one, I think. It was a good warm-up. Okay. Well, let's throw... I was going to talk about this article the other day, but the internet kept cutting out. Hello, everyone who's joined us. Lynn, Wins Alive. It's good to see you all. Fritzer, always a pleasure. We were going to talk about this article the other day, but I kept getting cut out, so I'll throw it up now. Let's just have a little bo peep. White informed civility, the latest target in the campus wars. From the land that irony forgot, which earlier gave us microaggressions and trigger warnings, comes a new and surprising movement, this time to combat civility. Civility, you see, is a manifestation of the white patriarchy. Spearheading this campaign are a duo of University of Northern Iowa professors who assert that, quote, civility within higher education is a racialized rather than universal norm. In perhaps the biggest understatement of the journalistic season, the author writes, their thesis can be a tad hard to follow, unfolding as it does in that dense argot for which academia is universally beloved. But their core contention is twofold. One, that civility, as currently practiced in America, is a white construct. That's right. Being nice to people is a white construct. Don't be too nice now. Don't be too nice, because here's the other prong of the thesis. In a campus setting, the woke white students' endeavour to avoid microaggressions against black peers is itself a microaggression. Yes, you heard right. So if you're being nice, you are inherently aiding the promotion of, quote, white racial power. Okay? Civility. Practicing civility is white racial power. Okay? Now, if you try not to, because this would be a microaggression, okay? Putting forward white racial power would be a microaggression. However, if you try to avoid microaggressions against black peers, that's also a microaggression. So you can see the conundrum here. You can see the conundrum. How do you act? How do you act? If being nice is racist, but not being nice is also racist, what the hell are you supposed to do? Right? I think you just do this.
I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is.
I know what he is. He's a white man who's being civil and is thus causing microaggressions.
He is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth.
I don't think Alex can be accused. See, Alex is actually really all for promotion of racial justice, you can see here, because according to the article, okay, white informed civility is the latest target in the campus wars. Being civil promotes white racial power. No harm of that going on here, let me tell you. Can't call Alex a white supremacist now, can you, huh? Checkmate. Checkmate.
I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy.
There we go. Thanks for that. So yeah, I thought that was fun. Alright, let's cut ahead to the caller. Get a little bit serious here. Again, just in case you missed it, doesn't look very civil to me. Yes, but it is racially fair, Blue Room Radio. You'll be pleased to know. See, what looks uncivilized to us is in reality a cry for racial justice. Okay? So next time you're walking down the street and someone says good morning, you are well within your right, my friend, to turn around and say, stop promoting white supremacy. And when you walk into a store, you're well within your right to say, fuck you, man. And if they have any sense of racial justice whatsoever, they'll turn around and commend you. And they'll say, thank you for not trying too hard not to cause a microaggression, but trying just hard enough to not be civil. It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act, you see. The most important thing is we want everybody walking around on tiptoes, on eggshells at all times, constantly. Because this is how we get to a harmonious state of existence with each other. By not talking at all. That would probably be the best way. Tell you what, let's not talk at all. Let's have everyone looking at the ground, not making eye contact. That can be very microaggressive also. Whatever you do, don't be civil. Don't be civil. Yes, you should be constantly evaluating your every move. That's what an educated person does. Thought it was a common greeting down under. Yeah, well, that's true. See, because we're very enlightened. We're very enlightened. How you going, arsehole? Yeah, good bastard. See, we've already gone through that sort of ringer of social justice and come out more enlightened and progressive at the end of it. Trust me. Very progressive people down here. You just stay home. Yeah. Just stay home. Don't go outside at all. Don't answer the phone. Don't go on Facebook. Don't go on Facebook. Whatever you do. So anyway, a little bit of the caller, if you might have missed. Slip back into something semi-serious here.
So, Zach, we appreciate your courage. We appreciate you joining us. Last time you were on, you were in Morocco. Are you still in Morocco?
As of yesterday, first and foremost, Alex, it's a pleasure to be back on with you. I had to come on and connect some dots. As of yesterday, I'm blown out of Casablanca. I'm actively right now east of Orlando en route to Cape Canaveral to bring up my first point, which is part of 4 that are critical information that we will discuss here.
That's a very good idea.
Okay,
actually.
well, go ahead. Your phone's breaking up a little bit, but go ahead.
For the Blue Room there. That's a very good idea. We should all wear blindfolds so we can't judge each other based on race. But what about earbuds as well? Because, some people can probably, ascertain some kind of ethnic background based on how you talk. I know it's very racist to suggest that happens, but I believe it does. So earbuds, blindfolds, And then off into the world we go. First, I guess we better have self-driving cars. Maybe a little tricky out there on the roads. On the upside, though, nobody will be able to see what accidents are happening around them. So you'll probably feel very secure. No one will look at you funny. No one will be civil to you and say nice things. So you won't be oppressed in that sense. Some may argue there is a form of oppression, self-oppression in not being able to see or hear, self-inflicted oppression. But those people, again, would be troglodytic, knuckle-dragging redneck morons who just don't understand racial justice. They just don't. It would be much easier. Yes.
Okay, can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, first and most importantly, I had to get in touch with Nico about the North Korea information because what's going on in Cape Canaveral this weekend, and I hope your researchers could kind of in real time pick this stuff up with me because it's out there right now. This is Area 59. SpaceX is having a launch this weekend. Weather, it was supposed to happen yesterday, but because of weather, it's going to happen this weekend. It's the SpaceX Falcon 9 with the secret payload Zuma, and that's going to go into orbit, and that is done by SpaceX.
Okay. Now, I thought that was interesting. That was on Friday. I've got this for you from today. Literally, 40 minutes ago or thereabouts? Check this out. Space.com. SpaceX launches secret Zuma mission for US government, lands rocket. SpaceX lofted the super secret Zuma spacecraft. It can't be super secret if we're reading about it, surely. For the US government, tonight, January 8th, successfully executing a mission that also featured yet another landing by the first stage of the company's Falcon 9 rocket. The booster's two stages separated 2 minutes and 19 seconds into flight. The second stage continued, carrying the mysterious Zuma to its destination in low Earth orbit, or LEO. Wow, I knew LEO was, people get stars in their eyes when they look upon LEO, but I had no idea. He's literally orbiting the Earth, ladies and gentlemen. While the first stage began maneuvering its way back to terra firma for a touchdown at Landing Zone 1, a SpaceX facility at Cape Canaveral. There you go. Leonardo DiCaprio, ladies and gentlemen. The US secret weapon in their war against terror. Let's carry on. So it happened. That's the point there. It happened a few days later.
But the payload is in conjunction with the U.S. Air Force. That's a DOD fulfilled contract.
Now you're not saying anything secret yet, but I want you to be careful here, okay?
No. This is public. It's just people aren't connecting the dots or getting the breadcrumbs yet. You could Google that and find that.
But obviously, North Korea.
I'm not a big QAnon expert, but isn't the breadcrumbs thing a line that QAnon uses quite frequently?
So, Zach, we appreciate your courage. We appreciate you joining us. Last time you were on, you were in Morocco. Are you still in Morocco?
Blown out of Casablanca. I'm actively right now east of Orlando en route to Cape Canaveral to bring up my first point, which is part of 4 that are critical information that we will discuss here.
Okay, well, go ahead. Your phone's breaking up a little bit, but go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me loud and clear now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, first and most importantly, I had to get in touch with Nico about the North Korea information because what's going on in Cape Canaveral this weekend.
It's also very rare that Alex just lets someone talk without interrupting them frequently. So I think that means something, doesn't it?
SpaceX is having a launch this weekend. Weather, it was supposed to happen yesterday, but because of weather, it's going to happen this weekend. It's the SpaceX Falcon 9 with the secret payload Zuma, and that's going to go into orbit, and that is done by SpaceX, but the payload is in conjunction with the U.S. Air Force. That's a DOD fulfilled contract.
Now you're not saying anything secret yet, but I want you to be careful here, okay?
No. This is public. It's just people aren't connecting the dots or getting the breadcrumbs yet. You could Google that and find that.
But obviously, North Korea knows. And notice they're suddenly calling for the first time in decades and having marches now calling for peace. Isn't that funny?
Well, okay. I got 4 major points here, and I got to get to them all because they're all interconnected.
Go through it.
The SpaceX launched the Falcon 9 with the Zuma. That's Z-U-M-A payload. That's U.S. Air Force. That's going to be done at what they're calling Area 59. That's not conspiratorial. That's official. That's outside of Cape Canaveral there. And that's Elon Musk fulfilling a DOD contract, which he's done plenty of all of a sudden, which ties into the spectrum bug. You were alluding to it a couple minutes ago as I was listening. That is the backdoors into the microprocessors of everything. Okay, here's the deal. The Silicon Valley sultans have fell in line because they saw what happened to Schmidt, and they're not...
Just on the side there, if you doubted Newsweek's integrity as a journalistic entity, just on the side there, just look on the side there, penis whitening procedure goes viral in Thailand. So, found that interesting. Next to the rocket.
Untouchable. Elon Musk has picked his side. He's in with DOD, but we have collected a lot of information. I shouldn't say we have collected a lot of information. There's a lot of information being collected, PDFs, it's been mirrored, it's been copied, class action.
I know in this age of microaggressions and white-informed civility, I think everybody's penis could be a little wider. I mean, it would be good for racial harmony.
Lawsuits have been filed because of this spectrum bug in California, Oregon, and most importantly, in weirdly, Indiana. Why Indiana? Well, I could tell you why Indiana.
Perhaps, yeah.
There's some troubling emails between Mike Pence, Stephen Bannon, and we could get into Miles Kwok and how that all works out. And I got a couple more points here. I'm sorry if I'm jumping, but this stuff's pretty critical.
No, absolutely.
Right now.
Continue.
Okay, so the spectrum bug could be read as spying on, everyday Americans. And make no mistake, whether you're a public official at the highest levels of power.
Generally, that seems like genital appropriation.
If you're a congressman, a senator, if you happen to be a secretary of state, if you happen to be whatever you are, make no mistake.
They are Blue Room.
Devices. So
and I believe they also get procedures to make the buttocks more pronounced and the eyes wider. And you'll be pleased to know I once found out that a slur that some Asian people will use against old whitey is they call them fish eyes. I don't know if you knew that or not. Oh, shut up, fish eyes. I thought that was adorable.
You think you could bleach them, if you think you could have a house fire and play victim and get rid of them, you are highly mistaken, because the Silicon Valley sultans put the spectrum bug out there. It's classified. Nobody's going to know who dropped it, but the information's out there. And now we have the information. Now we have the PDFs, which will be released. Assange will be released. Bannon made a big, big, big mistake.
For those of you who have never seen Alex Jones's listening face, because it doesn't come around very often, there it is. There it is. He's actually listening.
Here's the problem with Bannon. Bannon tried to align with Miles Kwok. Miles Kwok, people probably don't know who he is, but the Chinese billionaire who should be in China. He is the rook. He is the main piece when it comes to this North Korea strike. This Zuma payload that's going to be fulfilled by SpaceX, which launches, which we're going to get into orbit, is going to do something for DOD that I can't get into, that will make the North Korea attack plausible and not as catastrophic as people are worried about. Also, it's going to give us the green light with China. We're going to give them Miles Kwok, and we are going to get the green light to take out North Korea, as me and you talked about many months ago. Bannon in some weird, I don't know what happened. I think I do know what happened because I've seen some emails and some PDFs. They were attempting to pull off the 25th against 45. Obviously, that didn't happen, and they thought they were dealing with an idiot. This is serious. This is happening right now. Well,
I know Roger Stone is much more than he seems, obviously, and he's been down at Mar-a-Lago. I'm going to leave it at that. And he 8 months ago, I was like, shut up about Kwok. It's Kwok, 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 Kwok. And then the Chinese president came, and they said, give us Kwok, and then we'll back you on the North Korea. And Stone knew that back before it was even on the news. And he just has been obsessed.
For those who don't know, what's his name? Miles Kwok is rumoured to be the new financial backer of Steve Bannon and perhaps Breitbart. And he's a billionaire Chinese former... he worked for the government in some capacity, and he's on the run from the government. So the Chinese government's trying to get him extradited back to China, where no doubt I'm sure he will be treated humanely and with all human rights considerations taken into account, obviously.
with it. And then obviously he brings it up every time he talks to the president.
Is Mr. Quack dead? No, darling, he's just sleeping. Upside down, inside out.
And the president's so busy, he's like literally like, what, that guy hadn't been yet? I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
Well, the issue is they were double dealing Bannon, Tillerson. Tillerson's next. What they don't understand is...
Well, that's what... Okay, I'll just say it. Stone told me that Bannon was going to be out 6 months ago because of intelligence operations getting caught up by the Chinese, and then it was basically forbade from talking about it. But now it's basically out, and I was like, absolutely, I don't want to come out and say Bannon's in bed with the Chinese. Are you kidding? But that's the word, and I just, it sounded crazy to me. And now look at this.
So then, you know, you have Trump coming out, and I can't get into certain things that are going on, but yeah, there are operations protecting the...
Yeah, just because that Quack guy is running around shooting his mouth off about China, that's the biggest Trojan horse I've ever seen. You can take one look at that guy. Sorry.
Alex apologized, ladies and gentlemen. He apologized for interrupting. Another rarity. So this is quite an experience we've had just already. We've seen one of the greatest Alex Jones rants of all time. We've seen Alex Jones's listening face, and we've heard Alex Jones apologise for interrupting. I mean, that is the trifecta. It doesn't get much better than that, surely.
Bannon that hasn't already
He'll be treated better than one of the evil white country. Yes, that's true. That's true. Let me just throw up the article once more. just so you know we're not making it up. It is really true. White informed civility. Civility within higher education is a racialized term. It promotes white racial power. Okay. And in a campus setting, the woke white students' endeavour to avoid microaggressions against black peers is itself a microaggression. Just so you know, we're not making it up, folks. 100% right there, Blue Room.
About Karl Rove and what could be said about Karl Rove that hasn't already been said about Bandar Bush. Yuck. The Silicon Valley sultans had to fall in line, and Elon Musk did, because they saw what happened to the actual sultans in Saudi Arabia. And as we spoke about months ago, the viewers could pick it up. I told everybody, first year salvage, second year savage. And what we're seeing right now is nothing short of remarkable, and I'm just telling you right now.
Quite possibly the greatest username I've ever seen has just entered the chat. Holy shit username. Well done.
Walk will be extradited, and Assange will be in the United States within about a week, and that's going to be a switch that's going to happen. And, you know, here's the last thing. So I left Casablanca yesterday in Morocco. I had to go there for certain things, but Elon Musk is a patriot. Assange is a patriot. Elon Musk has a lot of interest in the Sahara and making huge solar farms as he does in Australia, and I can tell you right now that Musk is a fan of yours. I could tell you the same way. Maybe you didn't know who I was back then, but Farrakhan was a fan of yours. The problem is the image, and they think, you know, all the clickbait.
No, I'll just say it now. It wasn't off the record, but I just... I can't even get into it. I mean, that's incredible. Hold on. Stay right there. We'll be right back on the other side with our real QAnon.
Maybe just a little bit more, where he makes direct reference to the QAnon stuff. Because I know that's pretty hot right now. People are really into that, so might be worth just throwing that up.
But Soros is a big problem, but I'm telling you right now, the Huma Abedin emails, it was so sloppy, and it was so blatant, and with the Spectre bug, we have it all mirrored. They're done. The prosecutors are out there. It's only January. Just wait till February.
How does Eric Prince tie into this? We know the intercept.
Eric Prince is a great guy. Eric is a great guy. Obviously, I know Eric well. We protect the president. What do you want me to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this had to happen. And I've said it on the show several times. It's the Second American Revolution. Eric Prince is a good guy. The problem with Eric Prince is, again, with some of the Spectrum stuff, and not only that, they have collection data of just, like, massive amounts of phone calls, which is, like, problematic, and emails. It's like you're talking at 11 o'clock at night with somebody. Obviously, during the heyday, when everyone was getting paid during the Halliburton days and the Cheney days, people were collecting money, but Eric Prince had to change of heart, or at least he seems to be pure. He seems to be at least, you know, have the president, like, you know, I don't know, seems to be protecting him, but he has a problematic past in some certain capacities. But, I mean, you know, nobody's perfect. But as of late, as of 2 months before the election, he's done great things, but I've been wary of a lot of the PMCs, and I don't work with some of those PMCs. I do my own thing, and I can't really get into that stuff. But Prince is a good guy as far as I'm concerned, nothing too compromising, especially not in the last 12 months, and some of his operators have done great work, and,
Well, let's say this in closing, and powerful information, because I asked Millionaire, and I'm being rude. She's just sitting there, but she doesn't mind. I mean, we can talk about this for hours. No. We appreciate you. Here's the point. The arrogance of the Clintons and Soros and the globalists is just delusional. But they've got to know now that there's no way they're getting away now. There's no way they're going to win. Even if they killed me, killed Trump, killed Matt Drudge, I mean, they're not going to be able to stop us now.
Okay, so Assange had it, I had it, Corsi had it. Okay, Corsi, what did Corsi say? You're going to see people fleeing the country. You're going to see suicides. You're going to see this. You're going to see that. Huma Abedin is going to play this weird, we're in such this culture now where it's like, I'm a victim. Look how big of a monster my husband was, which he was, a complete freak and just a tool. But it's like, it doesn't excuse you from what you've been doing and who you know in Pakistan, and not to mention the order that's been passed. Hey, Pakistan, how about you're not getting close to $1 billion this year? How does that sound?
It's all happening. There's definitely a big war going on. All right, thank you so much, Zach. And I'd like to talk to you sometime today, if you can, off air or tomorrow, because I've got some questions for you. And again, nothing classified. I just want to get your take on a couple things. But you can already see everything anyways.
Let's talk. Hey, as
Try and find the QAnon bit.
That's CNN, and I think
sure, it's a sellout to China. The globalists bet everything on China. It's not going to be the Chinese century. It's going to be the new American century.
25 is 25,000 in the Dow Jones, so they are all duped and they are done.
That's right, 25,000, and in the stock market trumps the old 25th Amendment. Absolutely.
Okay, and here's another little tidbit, and I have to pick. I'm sorry if I'm jumping. There's just a lot going on, and it's hard to get on sometimes. But so just to let so we're and Trump also uses the word pockets in parentheses. Pockets is very important because it means we're cutting off the funding of outlaw weed and everything else. Notice the timetable. Notice that Schmidt steps down. All the stepping down when the executive order happens. When Sessions, puts forward these new prosecutors, and all of a sudden Bannon loses his mind. This isn't a coincidence. The executive order has a lot to do with Bannon because with the Spectre bug, some of the emails are pretty damning. They were going to claim he was crazy in the second year. They were going to push Pence. They were going to
Let's talk about the 25th Amendment plan that with their moles that blew up in their face, according to all the evidence.
Phenomenon, or
I understand it's a consortium of people.
Here it is.
It is.
Because anything secret, he's just giving us analysis and his view, and he's been really accurate so far. And you see the storm that's here. Let me ask you to finish your points, and then I got a few questions, and Millie has some here. But first, what do you make of QAnon and that stuff that's going on? What do you make of the stuff going on at 8chan? Zach?
Let me be very careful when I say this. QAnon is not singular, it's plural. It is, or we are, it's pillars holding up a platform that is...
It is, or they are, no, they is, or we are.
Republic of the United States.
Okay, very interesting. Other key points you want to get across people about what's going on behind the scenes?
I guess what I'm trying to say by that is it's not like one individual, it's one phenomenon, or...
I understand it's a consortium of people.
It's very few. Less than you could count on one hand.
Yeah.
But it's holding up something very important. And do you remember like memes like a little bit ago?
Yes.
About Trump being, first of all, like one of his most business savvy assets was Vince McMahon of the WWF.
Yes, smacking down CNN.
Right, smacking down CNN. But what that represents is the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, which is full spectrum dominance, which is perceived combat. It's not combat. It's scripted. right? So when you see this wolf crap, when you see this Bannon stuff, he said, bring this wolf in the White House. Let Bannon show his true colors. Let him lose his mind. Let his blood sugar rise. Let him get a little sloppy. Let's see where you're really at. Go make your deal with Miles. Try to get a couple more million for Breitbart. There's people out there who got the PDFs and the information, and I don't know what you're thinking. The 25th Amendment push didn't work. So what would you do if you were him? If you were an out-of-shape, out-of-your-mind individual who thought that Donald Trump was going to crap his pants, and then you find yourself in a situation where that's not the case, and you're an egomaniacal sociopath who has to line his pockets and who's envious of InfoWars, and I have some interesting emails for you to read about that as well.
Well, I know that.
How often have you seen Jones speechless? Just how many times have you seen that? Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is QAnon, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Interesting stuff there. So that was from Friday. Just for those who didn't see it. And just for the people just coming in now, I guess we could roll through it one more time. Just one more time. It's only a few minutes. The greatest Alex Jones rant in history. Why not? Doesn't get much better than this, guys. Just in case you missed it the first time.
Look at all of it. It's all roaring back, and optimism and so many other good things, and Trump is delivering on what he said. Very sensible policies across the board. And they are just flipping out, completely inverting all of this. And now Michael Wolff, known for yellow journalism.
You won't miss it a second time.
He's famous for festooning his news reports with outright fabrications. Like you hang ornaments on a Christmas tree. He's now come out and said he has no way to know if any of it's true. And he's gone to say, quote, I'll do whatever is necessary to get the story. Wolf in journalist clothing. By the way, this guy looks so disingenuous. I saw a photo of him last night smiling, and it reminded me of a piece I've been wanting to do for months. Guys, go to Google Images and get Brian Stelter smiling. It is the most disingenuous wolf-like
I don't think I'll ever get
face
sick of this rant
I've ever seen. And then you look at Wolf, it looks like Wolf is Brian Stelter's real daddy.
LA Child, just in time.
I'll come find it during the break because there's no way for you guys to know which ones I want.
One of the greatest
Brian
rants of all
Stelter,
time.
there it is. Oh, my God.
Here we go.
That is a horror movie cover.
Strap
Seriously,
in.
he is scarier looking than It the Clown. I mean, would you let your children anywhere near that psychopath? I mean, that is a psychopath right there. I mean, look at him. God. Oh, I mean, it cries out. Danger, danger, alert, alert. I am a scumbag. I am filth. I am your enemy. And then you look at the photos of Wolf smiling, and it's the only person I've ever seen that looks that creepy, man. It's a still image photo of him smiling the same way with that power trip look in his eyes. It's in Google Images. Just type in Michael Wolff journalist. That's his cover. And you'll see the Brian Stelter look. I believe he is related to Stelter. He's got to be. I mean, folks, I would literally not be able to finish my dinner if somebody walked over and talked to me that looked like these two guys. And I'm sorry. They're not just lying anti-American scumbags that want to run us all on the ground because they're little men. They're pieces of crap. They think they're better than everybody. That's what it's about. It's a spirit of...
I love... One of my favorite things is how he can just turn on a dime, like from relatively casual speaking to bang, nuclear war.
Evil, and we must break them. Oh. Anytime I need energy now, I'm hanging Wolf and Stelter and Hillary. She's the other person that's got the same demon look. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm a ravenous piece of garbage. And I'm going to hang all three of them on my office wall. In fact, I'm putting their faces up all over the office because I want people to know who the enemy is. Unbelievable. You guys still haven't found the one. It's a body shot of Wolf, and he's looking down with that just that disingenuous predator look of
One can only assume wins alive.
even hiding the fact that I hate everybody and that I'm a piece of crap and that I want to abuse you and I want to lie to you and I want to hurt you. But then there's a disingenuousness where he thinks you don't know. And it's like a joke that we're not in on. And no, that's not it. It's a body shot. It's him kind of looking down, and he's got that same smile as Stelter. And these are photos that they themselves put out as publicity photos. I've tried to do joke photos like this to look disingenuous, and I can make any face I want to. I can't pull it off because the eyes, Chico. It's always in the eyes. And again, I am always following my gut from now on with people. And how, just like Trump said, and they got big studies out, you can tell if somebody's lying, you can tell if somebody's been sick even a few hours, even though the virus or bacteria hasn't really replicated. Your brain is such a supercomputer that your first shallow approximation is not shallow, it's the deepest thing, to paraphrase the president. But just look at Stelter again, put him on screen. I think this all the broadcast should be is just a photo of Stelter smiling. Oh my gosh. Oh, hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him.
Thanks,
and you know
Guy.
what? He is better than you.
I love
if you keep
too,
letting
brother.
him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy. Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy. And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got.
Always. Trolls welcome.
Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted, a defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber.
Oh, what a run.
Devil!
What a run. The eyes.
You will pay. Yeah, you think I don't see your face, scum? You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I know what you think of me and my family. I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter?
Oh.
Stelter. You will fall. You will not bring humanity down. God is going to destroy you. Get him off the screen. Oh, God, they're so evil. Just please, God, free us from them. They're drunk on our children's blood, for God's sake. Okay, I'm going to stop right now.
Please don't. Never stop, Alex. Never stop. So yeah, that was fun. Like I said, one of the greatest rants of all time. Love him or hate him, you do have to respect a good rant. Very quickly, 2 articles to go through quickly. Thought this was interesting. Steve Bannon. Donald Trump Jr. was not treasonous. I meant Paul Manafort. Oops. Oopsie. Sorry. I just got the wrong guy. Did I say Donald Trump Jr.? Oh, I meant the other guy. I meant Paul Manafort. Who, this guy? Yeah, him. That's the guy I was talking about. Not Donald Trump Jr. Okay, thanks, Steve. Steve Bannon on Sunday withdrew his allegation. I don't know if you can withdraw an allegation. Once it's alleged, it's kind of alleged. I'm sorry, I withdraw. His allegation that Donald Trump Jr. committed treason as he expressed regret over his role in the controversy around an explosive book about the White House. The Guardian revealed last week that Bannon, formerly Trump's chief strategist, said a Trump Tower meeting between Trump Jr. and Russians during the 2016 presidential election campaign was, quote, treasonous and unpatriotic. Got your nose. Gotcha. Hey, I was just kidding, guys. Come on, guys. In his statement given to The Guardian and other outlets on Sunday, Bannon did not apologise for any of his remarks to author Michael Wolff, which included strident criticisms of the president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, whom he called dumb as a brick, and her husband, Jared Kushner. But he said he should have been quicker to clarify that his remarks about the June 2016 meeting in Trump Tower referred to Trump's then campaign chairman, who was also present. My comments were aimed at Paul Manafort, a seasoned campaign professional with experience and knowledge of how the Russians operate. He said, I should have known they were duplicitous, cunning, and not our friends. To reiterate, those comments were not aimed at Don Jr. Ah, okay. Okay. Sweet as Steve. Come back in. Come back in. No harm done, right? He's a good guy. He just made a boo-boo. Declaring Trump Jr. To be, quote, both a patriot and a good man, Bannon added, I regret that my delay in responding to the inaccurate reporting regarding Don Jr. has diverted attention away from the president's historical accomplishments in the first year of his presidency. Well done, Steve. Great rescue job, brother. I don't know. I tend to think, someone as intelligent as Steve Bannon should probably do better than that. No. I meant the other guy. Oh, okay. Well, this was all much ado about nothing then, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Mr. Bannon? But according to that anonymous caller, quote-unquote anonymous, he said, there's going to be stuff coming out on Bannon. Emails are going to drop. He's been, doing some shady stuff in the background for quite some time. They've been monitoring him, so we'll wait and see. I don't know either way. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of diffusing a situation, that probably has to go down as one of the worst ever efforts. I meant Paul Manafort. Okay. Poor Paul. So good luck in your future endeavours, Mr. Bannon. Flick over to this one before we go, just quickly. Let's cover off our bases. The psychiatrist who briefed Congress on Trump's mental state, this is an emergency. The case for evaluating the president's mental capacity by force if necessary. Because that would be a good look for the Democrats, wouldn't it? Let's go in, let's drag Trump out by force. We'll perhaps sedate him with maybe a start gun. What would you call it? Not a starter's gun, that won't do anything. We'll sedate him with a dart, a sedative dart gun, like you would fire into the arse of a rhino, perhaps. Do you see? So we'll hit him with one of those, wait till he stumbles around a little bit. Or we can put some sleeping pills into his quarter pounder, perhaps. Oh, it's you. He can be disbarred for diagnosing without ever even talking to the patient. Malpractice. Correct. Of course he can. It's horrendous. But since when do the rules apply? Come on now, Fritzer. You know better than that. You know better than to apply the rules. Ye gods, woman. This is an emergency. We have to evaluate him by force. The longer Donald Trump is in office, this is Vox, by the way, the more he shocks and alarms us with his strange and extremely unpresidential behaviour. Yes, because that's the marker of sanity, is monitoring how shocked Vox gets. How alarmed the readers and writers of Vox get. That's how you determine how crazy someone may or may not be. If they're not alarmed, the person's not crazy. From the incoherent, fallacious interview he gave to the New York Times on December 28 to Tuesday's tweet about his nuclear button, to his Saturday morning assertion that he is, quote, very stable genius, the remarks keep getting more menacing, bizarre, and portentous of disaster. Wow. Look at these tweets here. As Vox's Ezra Klein recently wrote, the President of the United States is not well. But how unwell is he really? See, this is interesting. Because Vox's Ezra Klein is now being quoted in Vox, the President of the United States is not well. That's a truth. That's just an assumed truth now. But how? So the question is, how unwell is he? You see? It's not whether he's well or unwell. Someone in Vox already said he's not well, therefore we can just put that down as a fundamental pillar of our reality, and we can move the discussion on to how unwell is he. Because, remember, it's an emergency. We need to do this now, by force if necessary. This is a question of crucial importance. Not just because the Vice President and the Cabinet would need a certainty about his mental incompetence to invoke the 25th Amendment and declare him unable to do his job, an option that, while still highly unlikely to be used, is now regularly being discussed. Of course, the question of his mental health would ultimately come down to a medical opinion, and no doctor, as far as we know, has evaluated the President's mind for fitness to serve as President. Yet there is a growing call from a group of psychiatrists, the best medical experts at interpreting aberrant human behaviour, for exactly this, an emergency evaluation of the President's mental capacity by force if necessary. Hello, Marine Mum. Thanks for joining us. Leading this call is Bandy Lee, an assistant professor in forensic psychiatry. What an expert. And he's an assistant professor. The big boy professor must be busy. Forensic psychiatry, the interface of law and mental health at the Yale School of Medicine, who has devoted her 20-year career to studying, predicting, and preventing violence. Well, we all know the best way to prevent violence would be to apprehend the president by force and conduct psychological examinations on him. Good idea. This one's a thinker. She recently briefed a dozen members of Congress, Democrats and one Republican, on the president's mental state. How low are they going to go? How low can you go? As low as it takes, caged lady, I assume. As low as you can go. Lower than a snake's ass. And this week, she, along with Judith Herman at Harvard and Robert J. Lifton at Columbia, released a statement arguing that Trump is, quote, further unraveling. The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, a collection of essays from 27 mental health professionals that Lee edited, was published in October. Another understatement, perhaps. These efforts have not been welcomed by all of Lee's colleagues in psychiatry. Yes, I would assume the ones with ethics. Probably not a fan of this. Some say her warnings are unethical and break the Goldwater rule, the American Psychiatric Association's stipulation that its members never publicly discuss the mental health of a public figure. One esteemed fellow psychiatrist accused her in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine of having a, quote, misguided and dangerous morality. She may just be a communist, though, let's be fair. She has spent 20 years studying, predicting and preventing violence, and as we all know, like I said, forcibly apprehending the current sitting president, removing them from office, subjecting them to psychological exams, and from that point on, your guess is as good as mine what kind of government you would have is a great way to avoid and prevent violence. Lee notes that her position and opinions are her own and do not represent the views of Yale. Our conversation has been edited for length and clarity. Here she is, a mental health crisis in a president who is not able to cope well with ordinary stresses such as basic criticism or unflattering news. The sheer frequency of his tweets seemed to reflect the frantic state of mind he was entering, and his retweeting some violent anti-Muslim videos, there we go, showed a concerning attraction to violence. Wow. See, this is like, now this is manipulation to like god tier level. Some violent anti-Muslim videos. So that makes you think, if you aren't aware of what he tweeted, that it was violence against Muslims, right? Violent anti-Muslim videos. Of course, that wasn't the case. You can Google it yourself. But the fact that he retweeted these said, in this expert's opinion, showed a concerning attraction to violence from him. Nothing about the violence in the videos themselves, nope. The fact that the president retweeted it shows that the president has a concerning attraction to violence. Wow. And then there were the belligerent nuclear threats this week. I'd also like to emphasise that we are not diagnosing him. Okay. We keep with the Goldwater rule. We are mainly concerned that an emergency evaluation be done. Thank you. Thank you for your concern. It's most expertly. There's everything in between, provoking our allies and alienating them. Now she's a political expert, you see. Instigating civil conflict and laying a foundation for a violent culture that could give way to epidemics of violence. Not to mention poke a beehive in the Middle East by declaring Jerusalem as Israel's capital. All of these actions are consistent with the pathological pattern he has already shown of resorting to violence the more he feels threatened. One psychiatrist's opinion, apparently. Provoking our allies and alienating them? The president is crazy and needs an urgent psychological examination. Wow. Right? And it's no accident that gun deaths are up at least 12% since 2016, and there is an increase in schoolyard bullying, an unprecedented spike in hate crimes that continue to this day. She's asked about, is it wrong for you to be doing this? She says, there's a disagreement over ethical rules, not a medical assessment. What would the pro-Trump psychologist say? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't read about it in Vox. Just quietly. Here we go. One thing that seems to make a lot of people uncomfortable about psychiatrists like yourself commenting on Trump's mental disturbances is that you have not evaluated him. So how is your assessment ethical? Why should the public take it seriously? A diagnosis, on the other hand, is a personal affair that does not change with the situation, and you require all relevant information, including, I believe, a personal interview. Once you declare danger, you are calling first for containment and removal of weapons from the person. And second, for a full evaluation, which may then yield diagnoses. Until that happens, physicians and medical health professionals are expected to err on the side of safety and can be held legally liable if they fail to act. So we're merely calling for an urgent evaluation so that we may have definitive answers. Yep. This psychiatrist is demanding access to the president. She's already outlaid all the policy things she disagrees with, like the Jerusalem thing, instigating civil conflict and laying a foundation for a violent culture that could give way to epidemics of violence. She disagrees with him politically. So she wants to get Trump down one-on-one, give him an assessment of violence and danger so they can get rid of him. So good luck to her. We are assessing dangerousness. Not making a diagnosis. Assessing dangerousness is making a judgment about the situation, not the person. The same person may not be dangerous. We've touched on this before in a different Periscope. The same person may not be dangerous in a different situation, for example. And it is his threat to public health, not his personal affairs, that is our concern. So you see, it's not that Donald Trump's dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that because he's the president, he might be dangerous. And that's what we need to assess, whether or not he's dangerous. I would argue to this obviously very educated and accomplished and, organised woman that anybody is potentially dangerous when they're the most powerful person in the world. That's why you have to think very carefully and, treat them a certain way when you just throw up, we should remove them by force and conduct psychological assessments. You see. Because it is, a particularly serious job. It's a pretty big job being president. You never know. It's dangerous now. Here we go. We encounter this often in mental health. Those who most require an evaluation are least likely to submit to one. Oh, isn't that cute? You see, he needs an evaluation more than anyone. That's why he's not going to say yes to it. Oh, okay. That is the reason why in all 50 states we have not only the legal authority, but often the legal obligation to contain someone even against their will when it's an emergency. So in an emergency, neither consent nor confidentiality requirements hold. Safety comes first. What we do in the case of danger is we contain the person, we remove them from access to weapons, and we do an urgent evaluation. This is what we have been calling for with the president, based on basic medical standards of care. We have been calling to remove the president by force, contain them, because we care. Yes, I care so much. I want to storm into that office. I want to pin the president down, stick him in the neck with a needle so he goes to sleep. He'll wake up in a straitjacket under my direct control, and I will care for him, and I will make sure that he gets the best of care. Well, not the best of care, actually. Just basic medical standards of care. Just the basics. He doesn't deserve any. He won't get any better than that where he's going. Bread and water. For Presidente. Yes, at first I was keeping this confidential and was horrified when it first leaked out to the press sometime over the summer. But the lawmakers seem surprisingly okay about it, and so I will tell you. Medical ethics encourage us to be of public service by consulting with the government. So when Congress members reach out to us, we are open to consulting with them no matter what the party. A half dozen of them got in touch after the Duty to Warn conference at Yale in April. Then an influential former Congress member started making arrangements for me to testify before all of Congress. Hang on. An influential former Congress member? Not influential really anymore, are they? Priorities. That kept getting postponed while the Mueller investigation advanced. How did these conversations go? They received us enthusiastically. Yes, I bet they did. Their level of concern was surprisingly high. You don't say, darling. From the dozen we have met with, it seemed they were already convinced of the dangerousness of the president and the need for an evaluation. Yes, they're already convinced that he's dangerous. I wonder why they were so enthusiastic to have found a psychiatrist willing to go through with this. Hey, guys, we got one. She's going to do it. Yay. Finally. We thought we'd never find a trained person of high integrity. Another thing that has been happening on the side is that a clinic at Yale's law school recommended that we be ready to respond emergently within an hour or two of being called. So we have been doing both. A DC-based psychiatrist has been collecting names of colleagues who would be willing to respond in an emergency, and members of the National Academy of Medicine have also been recruited for helping us to select candidates for an independent expert panel. I just wonder how this emergency would go down. Like, are the men in white coats literally going to be storming the White House? The Secret Service may have something to say about that. I don't know. I'm not sure this is a winning strategy. I'm really not. But, hey, what do I know? I'm not a psychiatrist. The dangerousness of the president must be evaluated by force if necessary. And one can only hope that justice is done in this very, very dangerous world we're living in. So, anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks, everyone. The Men in Black will stop it. Well, again, one can only hope. One can only hope. Thanks, everyone, for dropping in. Better is Fun, Fritza, LA Child, Lynn, Tamara, Wins Alive. What have we got here? Top Cat Womans, Cajun Lady. I think I saw Noala in before. Ernie Banks, Tony the Fairy, General Eaton. Anyone else I'm missing out on? Hey, the internet's working. We didn't have one dropout this whole time. So next time we get together for a free-for-all, when we delve into the Satanists and the pedophiles and the laughs that we have along the way, we won't be interrupted. Interruptus. Periscopus interruptus shall occur no moreus. Because it's an emergency. And I'm pretty sure all of us need a psychological evaluation at some point. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.